Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency video. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. So to start things off, I don't care if some of you are upset. I want to share this. I do talk to Mr. Level Up regularly, and I do appreciate his CA as cycle analysis. I prefer to follow fundamentals and FA, and then I do keep up with some TA, but again, it's so hard to really know what applies, especially in such a nascent space such as cryptocurrency. So per their prediction, now zoomed in on the 30-minute, really looking at this mini pattern, this algo that we see. We are predicting, if this is not the actual last hill we need to see, that we could see a final sellout to wipe out the stop losses before finally taking off. Now, hopefully this will come into fruition within the next week. But again, keep an eye on the charts. If you ask me, guys, anything under $1 is, again, a huge steal. This is not financial advice. It doesn't really matter unless you're putting in like, $50,000 USD and you want to, get your average buy at 27 cents rather than 30 cents or 29 cents. If it's a, $2,000 purchase or, $500 purchase or even a $50 purchase, does it really matter? So that's just what I want to emphasize. All right, let's get into this here. So right here, Crypto Believer. So XRP, Tim Draper, again, for those of you that do not know, huge founder, one of the original investors in Skype as well, owns thousands upon thousands of Bitcoin that he seized. I have to double check if he actually won or, purchased the Bitcoin from the Mt. Gox. I'm blanking on it, but I believe that he may have purchased this. But again, he's actually acknowledging Ripple and XRP here. Finally, I know a lot of the top guys, just like Mike Novogratz, in terms of, venture capitalists, do not seem to address it. There's a lot of NDAs in the world, of course, and when you do have an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, you're not actually allowed to acknowledge that you have an NDA either. So you can't just say, yeah, that's why. But anyways, let's just read this. I'm going to end up just reading it right here. So if I buy Ripple XRP now in October 2019, when will I get the most profits possible? We got Tim Draper, capital and Bitcoin investor, founder and CEO. Experts agree that the crypto winter, and this is what we refer to as the huge bear market of long prices, typically with cryptocurrency, there's, a year and a half, maybe 2-year cycles between each boom. And this is the algorithm, the pattern that we're referring to. There are many patterns that are cyclical within this. They might not be exactly the same because there's always different variables such as huge whales, bots, different, fundamental and market psychology elements as well. But again, this is the crypto winter that we're referring to. We're looking at virtually a 19-month bear market right now. So as this coil tightens, I like to use an analogy imagining this like a rubber band. So experts agree that the crypto winter is coming to an end. This means that the period of market decline is over, and in the near future, we will expect growth and a favorable mood to enter the market. However, things are not so simple with Ripple, and Ripple hopefully he's referring to as the company as a whole, but again, he might be calling it XRP, using these terms interchangeably, is more so a Bitcoin maximalist. So looking at the 3 times growth of Bitcoin over the past 5 months, which I get, one would expect a similar result from XRP. It's no secret that Bitcoin sets the general mood of the market. Keep in mind it as the first brand name recognition. Obviously, XRP is a far superior version made in 2012 rather than 2009. But remember, Bitcoin has that brand name. It had a lot more liquidity early on. And if you ask me, I think it was a great social experiment. But in reality, this does not have true utility. And now everyone falls back that Bitcoin is a store of value, which is complete BS if you ask me, because anything can be a store of value. Again, I am not, I don't even trust fiat for that matter. The US dollar, it's not even backed by gold. The Fed is printing billions upon billions per day right now because we are in QE, quantitative easing, just to really help with this financial liquidity crisis. And there's only one solution available. If you've done your research, which I can assure you, I've done research several years at this point, this is the most legitimate asset. I know you may think that I have confirmation bias. That's fine. I think I have confirmation bias too, because when you read nothing but good news and you can settle any type of argument regarding XRP, that's why I have confirmation bias, because I'm sticking to facts. Now, I talk about speculation as well, but that is what any healthy investor has to do to make true money. If there's no risk, there's no money to be made either. So I just want to emphasize that. So it's no secret that Bitcoin sets the general mood of the market, has a lot of the market dominance, of course. Sometimes the market dominance of Bitcoin will go down, and then that extra money, that extra market capitalization will flow into the other altcoins. And if you ask me, I consider XRP a digital asset. I do not consider it just a mere alternative currency. Now, in this case, the logical growth would have looked at least beyond the levels of 60 cents or even 90 cents for XRP, but it didn't follow. To call Ripple developers actions wrong is impossible. The company is actively developing, expanding the sphere of influence, enlisting the support of large financial institutions, and constantly improving the technology of transfers, referring to payments, cross-border transfers. In addition, Ripple the company is owned by SBI and SBI Holdings, a large corporation with companies such as R3. So SBI is virtually 60% of all the large banks in Japan, and then along with that, I'm trying to remember the figures for SBI. There might be an 80% with something. I have to double check. But then R3, again, is a huge consortium of 300 plus members, many of them being the top central banks. In a lot of people's view that have been in the community for a long time, R3 is really, you could say, analogous to all the boys at Wall Street, the bankers trying to get their slice of the pie and trying to do what Ripple does. But again, Ripple, the company, private company, which I think will be very, very valuable if they do an IPO and go public. R3 is more so focused on trade finance, with us settling trillions of dollars, whereas Ripple can still be trillions, but in my opinion, cross-border remittance, we're focusing on low-hanging fruit, the billions first, before going to that $155 trillion market. All right, and then R3 Trade Finance, of course, you can argue if they dip into the derivatives, keep in mind with the logos and all those acquisitions and those new DeFi, decentralized finance engineers. Of course, $1 quadrillion market cap is within reach. Does that mean that's how much money is in the actual asset? No, not at all, guys. You have to understand this is not a stock. You cannot use market capitalization the same traditional way that we value stocks. This is not an ownership of a company. This is a decentralized piece of protocol that you can own, and it is it can be fractionalized as well. So everything indicates that the current situation, only the calm before the storm. In our case, before the explosive growth of XRP. So now you're getting even bigger guys acknowledging XRP. I think something is afoot. And if you don't, if you're not comfortable with, investing or doing research, that's fine. Sit on the sidelines for a few months and we will see what happens. But I am getting so bullish. And the longer that the price stays at these low levels, the more probable it begins to actually, for a lot of people's theories, that it might just start at a very high price when everything's ramped up. There's a lot of theories that will probably, go towards all-time highs. A lot of people will sell because we'll fear another bear market. And then boom, finally, they will flip the switch. There's a term called mass enablement, which is lighting all of the corridors, these payment corridors, these different fiat pairs simultaneously. For those of you that don't know, MoneyGram is actively using XRP. There are some huge batch payments coming now. But again, we need higher volume to add the price and to increase the price dramatically. I want to make a fun prediction. I respect this channel very much. I believe it's two brothers, Austin and somebody else on Altcoin Daily. I just want to say I respect you guys so much. I'm just making a prediction and using your channel as an example. I've talked to you guys in the comments before, just talking about Ripple and XRP, and I know you guys have been involved with Bitcoin for a long time now. So I do respect it, but I'm making a prediction that channels like this, at least 80% of all these Bitcoin channels and other altcoin channels, they are going to start covering XRP. I'm telling you, there are no other developments in the altcoin space. XRP is the only asset that is delivering at this. The latest figure that we saw was 1.8 million. I'm just going to assume, since we had massive ramp up today as well, about $2 million in transaction value for actual utility. This is not speculative. This is not a store of value. This is actually saving money. MoneyGram, the CEO, Alex Holmes, again, I'm just going to repeat it, the second largest money transfer service in the world. They're partnered with Walmart. We get the gist, just right behind Western Union. They are literally talking at Swell, Ripple's conference, and preaching it. They're talking about the quarterly report and the savings of MoneyGram. This is getting very, very bullish. And I'm just saying that these gentlemen, channels like this, maybe they'll refuse to because they just don't want to, or they just don't trust it. That's fine. They can watch the price of XRP appreciate as well. And again, all boats rise within the tide. I wish the best for with other altcoins. I invest in other altcoins, but I just believe that the biggest driver of price in the future will be from utility. All right. Next, Mr. BXRP, I believe he's going to Singapore to go to the Swell event, which is awesome. So we got Monday, Ripple brand awareness campaign starts. Tuesday, Ripple new global regulatory team in DC. These are big announcements leading into Swell, which is November 7th and 8th in Singapore. What are all the possible big announcements you could think occur at Swell? I will start. new customer count. Absolutely, guys. This number has been fuzzy. It's always changing. There's supposedly multiple production contracts signed per week. We're not talking piloting. We're not talking POC, proof of concepts. XRP has been being tested. You can find documents of it being tested in 2015 by very, very large groups. And I'm saying XRP. I'm not just talking ILP with Interledger Protocol. With those two, the secret sauce of Ripple, this is an ecosystem that will thrive. It will be a permissionless ecosystem, a level playing field. All these talk points are priming the masses on the news. Even HSBC, massive bank, has the new saying, and they're saying level playing field in their advertisements. This is what Brad Garlinghouse has been saying for a long time. This is what a lot of top tier financial individuals have been saying. You have to see the pattern. And again, it's not your fault for not seeing it if you're not looking. Just know I can be a bit obsessive, and it helps. So Tony Valentino, a lot of his tweets are questionable, but I do like this. So he says, all these corridors below will be opened during swell. This is not financial advice. This is his opinion. And he says, makes no sense to run this advertisement if there's no plan on opening up these corridors. And now this is in reference, and again, XRP Neo, great guy, love his tweets as well and contributions to the XRP community and his blog. But this is actually in reference to Thal Rathar. So we had the new commercial by Ripple, right? And it showed all these different countries. It shows different fiat pairs. It shows how simple you can send money by the click of a button, as easy as information moves today. Sending value, the internet of value. So we have the USD, and there, we're just going by commercial. We have, of course, the Japanese yen. We have USD with the Thailand currency. I believe it is the Thai baht. We have the INR, which is the Indonesian rupiah. We have the Canadian dollar. We have the Japanese yen again with the Singaporean dollar, Singapore dollar. And then CNY is the Chinese yuan, or won, I believe it's yuan. And then, of course, I'm thinking of the Korean won. But again, why would they list all of these corridors if they're not actually going live with XRP? Notice, runs on Ripple, powered by XRP. That is their phrase everywhere. And it's weird that they're starting to engage the XRP community, like YouTubers such as myself, and inviting them to this conference. Before, they would, why are they doing that? Do they want the XRP community to pump the price? Do they want us to spread it out for the first time ever? Because they've been suppressing price. I don't care if you guys disagree. I wholeheartedly believe there's been some big whales suppressing the price this long. If you actually pay attention to the charts and the actual ledger, you'll see what's going on. All right, right here, I am Legion. So we got global stablecoins pose monetary sovereignty risk, G7 working group, and this is in regards to stablecoins. And then Damor Sahami, hopefully I said that name right, sir. But basically just showing a screenshot again. This is Jess Chang, former Ripple employee for people who don't know. And now she is at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. And look at here. She's talking about the G7 report on stablecoins, CBDCs, global stablecoins. All these walled gardens need to be bridged by a permissionless ledger. Cough, cough. XRP plus ILP plus potentially even Codius as well. We need interoperability, we need smart contract protocols, and we need a bridge asset with liquidity. That is the key. And again, you're going to pick the best settlement mechanism that is most secure with the best consensus mechanism. Not proof of work, not proof of stake. Hint, hint. POC. All right. And again, this is proof of correctness, proof of correctedness. You can say it however you want. All right. So cool to see that connection. Should be no surprise, though. Obviously, we're on stage. Ripple's on stage regularly with the IMF and the BIS. And again, these are huge groups. BIS and World Bank are like brother and sister as well. And again, they basically, there's different use or purposes, but you can just think of them as overseeing the central bank. All right, I'm going to finish off the video with this recording. I'm just going to let you guys sit back. Hopefully this is not a copyright strike, but this is Stuart XRP, and we are showing the one and only, one of my favorite employees of Ripple, Nevin Gupta, lay it down. So let's just listen up. And again, guys, I'll see you in the next video, but pay attention to this and why network effects are important.
I just want to add here, a lot of times customers really don't care about technology. They care about the solution, the benefits it can deliver. So by and large, in my mind, the tech problem is a solvable problem, or it has been solved, for example, in our case. But the problem that most of people are trying to solve is the ecosystem. So you have got great tech, you've got a great platform, how do you get people to adopt it? And Pavel and me, we were talking earlier, how do you get hundreds of institutions on that tech and build that on the platform? Because a platform business is like, I will only join the platform if my friends are on the platform. If you have one telephone, it doesn't work. And there is a multiplier effect if they are on multiple platforms. And then the third bit, so it's the tech, it's the ecosystem. The third bit, which will become the topic of this conference next year, would be interoperability. So Pavel has a great platform or an ecosystem that he has built. Jonathan has built one. We have built one. How do they speak with each other? Yes. So they need to be interoperable, because otherwise we end up in the same pre-internet world where there is a AOL, there is a CompuServe, and there are different islands, but these islands don't speak to each other. And that's the reason what we are working on is Interledger Protocol, ILP, which essentially connects till we are compliant. We are ILP compliant. Jonathan ecosystem can send, connect with Ripple's ecosystem, and we can speak to each other very, very easily, almost like the TCP/IP of the world.
Boom. So that's what I wanted to emphasize, guys. Let me know your predictions down below. If you think that they're actually going to announce these additional corridors is news. Because my question is, why are they just simply showing this as a commercial? They're getting all this hype and so many different awareness campaigns out today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.